says off air. Now it says we're live.
Hello, good people of the internet.
Let's see. Does that work?
Now it says we're live.
Whoop.
We never know if we're live or not. Good evening, people of the internet. My name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is the Painfully Honest Tech Podcast. Podcast so honest, it hurts your ears because I yell. How's everybody doing out there tonight? Hey, how's everybody doing? I see Andrew M562 and Miyobi and Nycion. I don't know. Mediocre Tech Rant Live. Wizard Squad, baby.
Wizard Squad.
Stephen Turner, Tech for Your Needs. Channel 808 Life Hawaii. John Dowling. Larry Robertson. Matthew D. Productions. David is awesome. Oh, yeah. Valiant Broussard is sliding in. I thought he only slided into the DMs.
Slide into those DMs.
Yeah.
Alan Osborne.
Doug Hewson.
Doug Hewson, YouTube? He's an Aussie. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
He's upside down right now.
I know.
Hey, we got a hashtag Zach Pack. Thank you, guys. Thanks for bringing it over here and infecting the Painfully Honest podcast.
Yeah, I better see some Wizard Squad show up in there.
I think they're all one and the same. We should get a t-shirt with hashtags all over it.
Yeah. Team Unfiltered, Wizard Squad, Zach Pack. You know, what do they call Drew's people?
Apple sheep? I don't know. Be nice. Be nice.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
No, he says he's the apple sheep.
Well, I know, but do they have like a community name?
Okay, I don't know. The Ginger Avengers? Well, they're not all ginger. They're not all gingers.
I know.
You came up with that name originally, right?
I think I did. Yes.
I think he adopted it.
He has adopted it.
He has. Yeah.
I don't know if you remember.
You know, he's actually been really cool. I reached out to him and I'm like, because when I did my initial video saying I was going to get an iPhone 10R. I was going to have both phones, and I said I'm going to join the Apple sheep, and I had his picture fly up. So I texted him. I'm like, hey, can I get a picture? And he sent me a picture. He's like this. He's like, and I put it in there. People flipped out at me. I'm telling Drew, and you're a dick.
Yeah.
I mean, hold on. He sent me the picture. He's being cool about it.
Yeah, it's, sometimes the drama can infect without even being present.
Well, I knew it would ruffle some feathers. I literally had his picture flash for 2 seconds. So those people, they watched at the end of the video. I respect that.
Yeah. So, well, everybody's asking about the different products that were released today. That is something that we are going to cover in the podcast this evening. But first, I want to say, if you're listening to the audio version of this, you can come watch us live every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. We will talk live and generally answer questions that we should answer. And it's a lot more fun to watch it live than it is to be on the audio, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's not. I've never listened to the audio. So
I listened to it just to hear what I sound like.
Yeah.
And I always get the compliment. You've got a great face for radio. You know, my father was in radio for 13, 14 years.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah. And so I always wanted to go into radio. And my father used to say to me all the time, unless you like living off movie tickets, and it's a great job. And I said, so what's the problem? But raising a family, it's just not all there. But I definitely get the voice. I definitely get the, when I was growing up, I used to answer the phone, and say, hello, Zach here. And they'd be like, oh, is this Jim? And be like, no, this is little Jim, not little Jim. This is Junior, right? And
yeah, of course.
Side note, fun.
Yes, Stefano Zignago. Sorry, man. Thank you for the super chat.
Super chat. Hey, we got Viper. This your boy Viper. The man
Viper
about tech in again with another video.
House. So anyway, as I was saying, if you're listening to the audio, please subscribe to the podcast. Go over and rate this thing 5 stars because it's so awesome. And if you don't rate it 5 stars, then it's really bad for us. send us a note. Where can we be found, Zach?
We're on.
Oh, dude, of course, you break up at that point.
Sorry, we're on the internet.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can find me on Twitter, Jason T. Lewis, PHT, on the Twitters. And you can find Zach at Zach Talks Tech, ZAKTALKTECH on the Twitters and the Instagrams. And you can also find me on the Instagrams at Jason T. Lewis, PHT. So, yeah.
My Instagram's been doing pretty good lately, actually.
I posted something on Instagram.
Did you really?
First time in like 1,000 years.
I don't have you on notification. Let's take a look at this something.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. I took some pictures with my iPhone 10R.
10R?
Posted them to the
Instagram. 10R now?
I've had the 10R. I made a video about the 10R. 10R.
Okay, that's right. Yes, you did take a nice picture of some trees and grass. Well done.
Those are the things that I like to take pictures of.
Well,
so I still got my 10S Max.
10S Max?
I still got my Note 9.
Still got your Note 9?
Still got the Note 9.
Nice.
I haven't used it like as my daily for a while.
We got El Jefe reviews in the house.
El Jefe.
That we got Willis here.
Willis with the numbers.
Willis, did he ever tell us what the numbers stand for?
He did, and they have some significance for him. And he can tell us again in the comments if he wants to. Cool. But yeah, so we are rocking tonight. We are going to talk about the Apple event that just happened today.
Another one.
Like something about gathering around or something like that. I don't know what it was called, but it was all about iPads and MacBook Airs and Mac Minis. So
I got one of the new iPads. I did it. I pulled the trigger today.
Good for you, man.
Yeah. I mean, for starters, it's going to be review, and if I'm really happy with it, I'm going to upgrade it to a 256. But I'm excited about the potential with it. Are we going to go right into this? Might as well. The Photoshop stuff they showed, the stuff they showed off.
Yeah. I mean, the iPad is finally becoming a pretty serious creative tool, as it were. It's no longer just for porn and ebooks.
I thought it was the only one.
No longer just for porn and ebooks. The iPad Pro can actually be used for things that matter.
Cool.
I don't know if I'm the keyboard thing, but the keyboard. What's wrong with my voice? The keyboard. I wish they would have spent more time on the keyboard because I want to know if it still has that weird fabric-y texture where the keys have weird travel. I want to know if that's what we're still seeing because I wasn't a big fan of that.
Yeah,
I wasn't a big fan of that. I do
it would get gunky right away because it would like grab all your oils and stuff, right?
Yeah, that was a problem for most of the
Microsoft's one that's kind of got a felt feel to it. Doesn't do that as much. I felt.
You mean their laptop with the Alcantara?
Yeah, that material stuff. Yeah, that material Alcantara, whatever it is, expensive stuff.
Yeah, I've seen some photos of those Surface laptops that
they're nice, man. They're nice,
janky looking.
But like Apple just laid down the gauntlet today. It was like, nope, we have the best tablet converting thing, and looked pretty badass.
I mean, you got an 8-core chip with 7 cores of graphical powers. It's very impressive. Very impressive.
And if you play your cards right, you'll get a Phil Schiller voiceover when you open it.
Yeah, what the hell?
I was surprised at that.
I mean, Phil Schiller does not necessarily have dulcet tones coming out of his mouth.
No, but it sounded good, and it makes you wonder if the British guy's dying. I'm just kidding. He's not dying.
But I mean, it's been a while since we've seen the Johnny Ive. I guess we saw him at the last event, but
he was at the 10R. He was at the 10R event. He was he was looking quite suave. Notice that about him. It must be a British thing. They always look suave.
Like him and Jason Statham. For some reason, I equate those two together.
Jason Statham's awesome. What movie has he been in recently?
I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know? Are we gonna try not to go off topic?
Yeah, we should. So we
Hey,
don't.
Caleb, we love you for being here. Thank you. He says he loves your podcast.
Thank you, Caleb.
That's really nice,
I
man.
really do appreciate it. I do. I do. The Meg. What the hell does the Meg mean, Tech Rant?
The
Um,
Meg.
I
Oh,
don't
the
know.
Meg. Oh, the movie. It's about the mega. It's the shark thing.
Oh,
My kid wanted to go see that. My 6-year-old. I'm like, son, let's start with Jaws first. If you make it through that without screaming in the middle of the night, we're good to go.
but Jaws,
He didn't make. He didn't
probably
make it. He didn't
Jaws
make it.
is one of the scariest movies ever.
It scared the crap out of me. I didn't sleep for weeks.
I went to the theater to see Jaws or Jaws 2. It must have been Jaws 2 because I was a little bit too young to go to the theater to see Jaws. Jaws 2 scared the living bejesus out of me. I ran out of the theater.
My grandparents rented. Okay, listen to this, kids. We went to the local Blockbuster. This is back in the day, which was a Tuesday. We went to the local Blockbuster and we rented on VHS, which stands for video. Geez, what does it stand for, Jason? What does VHS stand for?
I don't know. I totally forget. Somebody out there in the chat knows, though.
So we rented it on VHS.
Yeah.
Oh, keep in mind, this is my grandparents, my mother's parents. And my grandfather says, we're going to watch a good, wholesome movie. I think the last time I pissed myself before that, I was like probably 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't sleep for days. Video home system, Larry Robertson says. Thank you. Video home. Everybody's Googling now.
Okay. Appreciate it. Video home system. That's interesting.
I know we all know video part. Yeah.
Of course. I mean, that, so, like
Mark says the Meg was great and not really scary.
I wouldn't. That doesn't.
I think Mark is lying to me.
The problem with those movies, and I've watched a lot of them, those shark-related movies, is that what made Jaws so scary was the fact that you never saw the shark.
Exactly. That's right. It's like what's that movie? It's got Nev Campbell, Denise Richardson in it, and there's the Wild Things. There's a part in the end of the movie when they're running the credits and she's pulling out her tooth and it cuts to black and all you hear is the crunch as she pulls the tooth out. That right there, you don't see anything. You just hear it and you see the buildup. You're right. Those movies that don't show and just cut at the right time.
Yes.
Like I remember Batman. Why so serious? And then they cut away and you just see the guy's face go. Like as he sees the Joker put the knife through the guy's mouth. You don't actually see it. Right?
Right.
Hitchcock. Exactly.
Okay. So Tech Fury Need says, let's get back on track.
Sorry. Stay on target.
Hitchcock got shadow banned because it has cock in it.
We're talking about chickens.
I have approved it. So, but let's get back on track. Apple event today. We had a bunch of devices introduced or reintroduced to us. The first was the MacBook Air. The MacBook Air is now, it's got a i5 chip in it, but it's a Y chip.
Okay, so maybe you can explain this because I've never quite understood.
Yes.
If I'm doing graphics and we're doing like our Final Cut stuff and audio and everything like that, MacBook Air is probably not the best for that. Air is probably for more for writers and things like that.
MacBook Air is for portability and for light productivity.
Okay, so
I mean, you can do stuff on it. I bet you could record music on it if you weren't doing something like like 95 tracks of something.
You probably could do iMovie on there pretty easily.
You probably could do iMovie on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, that's the problem. Like you can't necessarily do a ton on it compared to the MacBook Pros, but I think you have to go into it understanding like what you're buying. You're buying thin and light. You're buying something that is, barely the size of a notebook. So, and not a notebook computer, a notebook.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I just thought, This one thing that kind of annoys me about the Apple keynotes is they kind of just go into it assuming like how the product should be positioned, and they do a good job with their marketing. And then when they showed like the fancy commercial, so you get a better idea. But honestly, this is the one where I really, in the past, I never really watched these laptop ones or anything like that. But now I'm getting more into with my channel and everything like that. Obviously, I was paying more attention. I was really hoping they would kind of, be like, oh, this is more for education. Maybe they did. Maybe I missed that part. But thank you for explaining it.
Yeah. Well, so Tech Rant Live says here the MacBook Air is the most expensive way to surf the internet. Now, yeah, maybe there's a little bit of truth to that. The MacBook Air has been incredibly popular for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
It's been, as far as I know, one of Apple's best-selling computer devices for a dog's age, and it's still sold. Like up until this moment when it was still available, still for sale. It had, bezels bigger than my nostrils.
They're pretty thick on the old one there. They were showing the comparison from before. They were pretty thick.
Didn't have the Retina display. Didn't have anything, but people still loved them. They were so light. The 13-inch was a great size, and so they have updated it now. They have also updated the price. I mean, it's got a Retina display now. It's got thinner bezels. It's up to speed. I actually came in a little bit late. I didn't see what keyboard is on there. I hope it's not the butterfly keyboard.
Well, it looked like it, but obviously I think it's probably gonna be the improved on one. They won't say that, right? Obviously. So.
Yeah, but I just saw a news story today that said the new butterfly keyboard is having the same problems as the other two iterations with dust.
See, I haven't had any issues myself, but again, I keep mine in a vertical. A lot I traveled with it was to Vid Summit, so
right, yeah. So I mean, it's interesting to me because I used to see a lot of MacBook Airs out in the wild, as it were, and then as it got a little bit long in the tooth, I saw more and more MacBook Pros, not the 12-inch MacBooks. I didn't see very much of those all the time because they're even more like casual. They're like a tablet with a keyboard stuck to it.
Yeah.
They're very nice computers. Don't get me wrong. I mean, my daughter had one for a while, and it was, if you wanted to just throw something in a bag, not have to carry any weight, then that thing was perfect. But now the MacBook Air, which was at that $999 price point for so long, now it's what, $1299?
I think that was the starting, yeah.
$1299, and that's pricey compared to what it was. However, if you look at the way the price structure works, right? Yeah, now you've got their laptop products where the MacBook starts at $1,200, the MacBook Air starts at $1,299, and then I think the 13-inch MacBook Pro starts at $1,399 or $1,499.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people will be looking to Black Friday sales.
Viper says $1,199.
Okay.
So okay, that's not bad.
So I think a lot of people will be looking to like those Black Friday sales, hopefully coming up. I don't think it's like Apple to put things directly on sale on their website, but
Best Buy almost always has some kind of deal where they're giving $100 off or $100,
or like a gift card with or something like that, right?
Yeah. So there'll be Black Friday things like that. It'll be hard to. I don't know if it'll be for the newer devices, but it'll. I have a feeling they'll blow out of the older devices.
Yeah.
God, Lord knows, I hope they just throw the remaining Mac Minis into a slag heap and reuse the parts for something that's worth owning.
Yeah.
Those things were terrible. But the Mac Mini, the MacBook Air looks good to me. I think it's going to be a solid machine for people who don't need anything too crazy. Right?
Yeah, like well, I mean, they didn't really position it for students, not like a Chromebook, I guess. But I guess the Chromebooks are also kind of getting up there, but not.
Yeah, well, the Chromebook that my daughter has for school is is jankalicious.
Jankalicious.
It is a very poor experience.
Oh.
It's a poor user experience, but you know,
Mm.
I'm a snob, so I've been told. So anyway, the MacBook Air is I couldn't see where it fit in the product line. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I couldn't see. It seemed like the MacBook and the MacBook Air were fighting for the same spot, and
Yeah.
now it looks like, um, now it looks like they've sort of made it make sense
Yeah.
to whatever degree. But everybody's mad. So the prices of everything went up. Everybody's mad. The prices of everything went up.
Mm-hmm.
I I get it. It sucks, but the devices also got considerably improved.
Yeah. I mean, you got to pay to play. Reduced bezels. Obviously, there's more power under the hood. That Mac Mini, they gave the Mini some love.
Yeah.
And
Well,
the more I look at it, I'm like, I should get that to go with my 35-inch here, and then I can actually use my laptop as a laptop. Do you know what I mean? Right?
well, yeah. I mean, I saw the specs that they were throwing out for the Mini, and I
Mm-hmm.
was like, hmm.
Right?
2 months ago, that might have been my solution instead of going to the iMac Pro.
Yeah, because yours like an all-in-one thing, whereas with the Mac Mini, basically you buy that, you supply your own monitor, right?
Right.
You supply your own everything. And I
Yeah.
was just thinking about that because I mean that
Well,
this isn't a
I've got
this
everything. I mean, I've got like 5 monitors.
yeah,
You
like
know?
this isn't like this doesn't take up a lot of room, this MacBook Pro and a vertical thing, but I just thought about it like that would be cool to be able to yeah, it just looks cool. Like it's this
Yeah.
little square box, you know.
So it starts at $799.
Yeah, it's not bad.
That's for the i3.
Yeah.
I didn't know that anybody was still putting an i3 in yeah, I didn't know that the i3 I mean for what it what it what that machine would be there to do, like be a family computer, you know,
hmm
kids can play a little bit of games, parents can do their bills or whatever. Um, it would just be sort of an all-purpose machine that couldn't do much heavy lifting, and I think that's okay. You get eight gigabytes of RAM, you get that, you get
Yeah.
128 gigs of storage, everything's in the cloud, whatever.
Yeah, it's like my wife was saying, she's like, we could get the 16 gigabyte one and we could put it upstairs and because we have this desk that's perfect, but anything more than a monitor on it, there's no room, but there's like a nice keyboard tray and
Right.
just that small form factor, that little box sitting there with a single cable going to it.
Yeah.
You know, brilliant, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I've always liked the Mac Mini. Stefano says, so if you stack 10 Mac Minis together, you get a Mac Pro. I don't know if it works that way. I don't know if you could daisy chain them together to like
Well, you
get
saw
all
the rack
power.
picture they showed, hey?
Yeah, I know,
That
but
was insane. I'm like, what?
so back in 2012, they still had what they called the Mac Mini Server Edition.
Mm,
And so what we saw there was most likely something that was built back in 2012 and updated over time as I mean, those are all just like server racks.
yeah.
I ain't no computer whiz, so I don't know exactly how that all that stuff mix.
hmm
What did I just say? How it all makes sense. I don't
Oh.
I'm I'm reading and I'm reading and confused. Sanjay just has a random I Justine comment. Yes, she is nice and fun. I like her a lot. $4,100, as Chris Hafner points out, and other people have pointed out before in the chat. $4,100 is how the maxed out Mac Mini.
That's insane.
Yeah. The thing is, though, like 41, so you're getting 2 terabytes of storage,
hmm
you're getting 64 gigabytes of RAM, you're getting an I. Do they have the i9 option on this, or just the i7?
I only saw 7. I only saw 2 terabytes of storage, which would kind of puzzled me. I thought they would have at least a 4, kind of like the Pro.
Yeah, but just think about it. If they had the 4 terabyte
Yeah,
version, the computer would be like $6,000
true.
because they are. I mean, their storage is great, very fast, very, blah, 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 but they charge ridiculous.
Miyobi Levi says Apple deserves huge criticism for this crap. Well, I guess the best way you can criticize them is by not buying it. But there's obviously a market for it.
Yeah.
I'm not defending them all. I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
El Jefe says literally can't afford any of this. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Yeah. Yep. I hear you, man. I hear you.
So I'm a little teapot.
Yeah.
Says the tech they use for the Mac is called compute clustering. Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all working together and so happy. No i9 option. Mark Yates says the Coffee Lake i3s are good, are quad core now with hyper threading. Wow. How far the i3 has come since 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Okay, so Christian Federico has we got MacBook Air at $1,200, MacBook Pro at $1,300, $100 difference. I think honestly, you're making a small leap from the Air to the MacBook Pro.
Mm-hmm.
That's $1,300. They're both i5s. They both don't have dedicated graphics. They both have 8 gigs of memory. So I suppose it's just down to the form factor, which one you want. But the MacBook Air, God, I stumbled over the naming of all these things. Like, try and do a video where within 5 minutes you try and talk about 5 different products that were just released.
You know who can't pronounce the names? We were with them at Summit. Aaron from For the Love of Tech.
Uh-huh.
He's like, he has to stop. He goes, 10S Max. And he did a whole video on it. It's so funny. He did like all these outtakes and everything. Like, I don't know, call it the Plus. He's so funny. So he feels your pain.
So Quentin Daniels says that it's user upgradable RAM again. And I saw the pictures of the guts, and I thought that looks like user upgradable RAM.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Did they say that at all in the?
Well, I thought I read a comment on Twitter or something like that. Someone saying that thank God they didn't solder in the RAM this time.
Yeah, I know. That is officially what I thought Apple would not do.
Yeah, really, right?
There was no way in hell that Apple would go back and give us user upgradable RAM in a product that they'd already taken away.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess they have. And so I guess if the prices that they were asking for their RAM, totally insane prices. Totally insane.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I'm going to look here real quick to see what their prices are. Mac Mini buy.
So, I hate how I go to the US site on my Chrome and I always tell it to start and then it switches to Canada.
Yep. They want you to stay in your sandbox.
Yeah, really.
All right, I'm going to select the 3.2 6-core 8th generation Core i7. I'm going to select, going from 8 to 32 gigs of RAM is $600. I'm going to select that though, because 64. Actually, no. I'm going to stay with 8 gigabytes because we can upgrade. I'm going to do 1 terabyte of storage, which is what the iMac.
Do we want to put this on for people?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
And then we got 10 gigabit Ethernet. So this is.
Oops.
So this is crazy. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen so people can see this. Screen share, application window, this guy. Share. Okay, so if you look here, we've got, let's see, we've got the i7 chip. We've got 8 gigabytes that we're going to upgrade to 16 or 32 or whatever we're going to do, and it's not going to cost us $600. We've got 1 terabyte of storage and 10 gigabit Ethernet that costs an extra $100. We don't need Logic Pro or Final Cut Pro, and it comes in at $2,000.
Wow.
That's a lot of machine for $2,000.
I mean, I guess if you break it down by the specs, not so bad, right?
No, not at all. I would buy this. Like
You're gonna go on now. You're gonna review it, and then he'll return it. Everybody,
no,
he'll return it and hurt you.
Honestly, like I always like to disappoint people, because I just like to elevate your expectations and then drop you like a rock.
Yeah,
that is what I'm doing to you. Just know it.
God bless you, Jason.
Because I've got a 34-inch wide, like ultra wide screen. It's 1080p, but it's 32 inches. I could. I like the wide angle, the ultra wide screens.
So what are you gonna do with your Mac Pro then?
I don't know. Might have to sell it.
Might have to sell it. You know what? Anybody that buys anything from you or from me, and I mean, obviously we can't be selling stuff on here. I'm just saying that keep your eye on our Twitter. You never know. I have stuff that's on stuff. I've only got one thing on there now. Swappa.
Yeah.
You get from me or from you, it's going to be in good condition.
It's true.
It's true.
Yeah.
Girl, it's true.
Girl, it's true.
Ooh, ooh. Okay, wait, what?
Love you.
Hey.
Okay. So Tech Leathercraft says that's a crap price for an i7 and 8 gigabytes of RAM. Well, if you're going to compare a Mac computer to what you could buy it off the shelf and put it together yourself, then yes, you're absolutely right. But I think that the most Mac computers are greater than the sum of their parts. You can get 32 gigabytes of RAM for $300 out there in the real world and change it out yourself, and then you got a pretty banging system, as they say in the stereo game. So I'm just, yes, it sucks that Apple is expensive. I have gone down and tilted against that windmill and complained like crazy about the iPhone XS and XS Max. And I made myself insane. I made myself insane.
Like main machines like 3-4 times in like less than a month.
Yeah.
Driving me nuts. I was like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
Hauling that hardware in and out.
Yeah, I know. Here's the thing. Like, this iMac Pro is the perfect machine, and it is freaking. Well, here's the thing. The 27-inch iMac Pro or 27-inch iMac doesn't have the Coffee Lake chips. The Coffee Lake chips are what matters here.
Okay.
Coffee Lake greater than KB Lake. So why they didn't upgrade the iMacs today, I don't know. You would think that there's just, swap in a new chip. But then again, we see what happened when they did that with the laptops. So maybe it's not just swap in a new chip. I don't know. But yeah, the Mac Mini, I have always had a real soft spot in my heart for the Mac Mini. And I think
he's going to buy it, everybody. He's going to buy it. You're going to buy it.
If you get a Mac with, a terabyte of storage, I mean, I could take that down to, 512 gigabytes of storage and take off 10 gigabit Ethernet, which doesn't really matter to me. And I'm at $1,500. Does that sound better to you?
Yeah, that actually sounds pretty good. To tell you the truth.
$300 for 32 gigs of RAM, and so you've got external storage, et cetera, et cetera. 512 is plenty to use as a work drive.
If you have a separate scratch drive, just like how I do. So I have a 1 terabyte MacBook Pro. I do all my projects and everything on here. There's a 500 gigabyte T5.
Willis, yes, thank you for the super chat. And yes,
Willis knows. Well, I always love having him here. Willis knows.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do everything on here with 5 Final Cut and everything because it's fast through the USB-C, right? And then when I'm done with the final project, I take the final project, like what's uploaded to YouTube, and I move it to a separate 4 GB drive that just sits there. I also upload it to the cloud, and then I take what's that?
Terabyte.
Whatever. Terabyte. Did I say gigabyte? What terabyte? And then I also take the project files, like the original files and everything. They're all in here, and they also go in there. So this is the scratch. In other words, my 1 TB that's on the MacBook Pro right now, it's still sitting at 850 available, the same as the first day.
Right.
I never actually leave anything on it.
See, I've worked that way in the past. Working off of external drives, et cetera, et cetera. With the iMac Pro, I decided the read-write speeds of the hard drives in these things are so insane.
Yeah.
And that you can't get something that's faster and plug it into your machine. So I just figured, okay, I'm going to work off the drive and then I'm going to dump everything over to another drive. I had a Time Machine drive, but it fell off the desk onto the concrete floor, and it is no longer surviving. No longer surviving, which sucks. But then again, I mean, whatever. The thing about I've been trying to reach out to CJ Knows Tech, our friend CJ, just got hooked up by LaCie.
Who?
LaCie, the folks who make those orange rubber padded drives and everything. He just got hooked up with something.
Nice Dad uses.
Yeah. CJ just got all kinds of swag from them. And I'm like, hey, LaCie, I need like a backup solution. Let's work together.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing, eh?
Nothing.
Oh man, I just dropped an A, didn't I?
It's fine. It's fine. You know, we expect it from the Canadians. I'm listening to a Canadian podcast right now.
Which who's that?
Someone Knows Something with David Ridgen from CBC.
CBC is a good channel.
Yeah,
Question about Apple, about the right to repair thing. I think we talked about it in one of the last podcasts.
I did watch that where Louis Rossmann didn't seem like a completely insane person.
Yeah, it was. I was like, is this the? I'm just waiting for him to tear like an asshole into somebody. Oops, sorry. And he didn't.
No, I mean he was very calm. They must have like spiked his drink with barbiturates or something.
I'd be like, okay, or maybe they just heavily cut it.
Yeah, but there's a lot. Okay, we should just. I'm never going to. I might say nice things about Apple products. I might give Apple credit here and there from time to time. But let's be clear, there's plenty about Apple that we could complain about and that I have complained about. And, people hate me when I say something nice.
Well, Louis Rossmann hits it on the nose. But he's losing everybody, man. I mean, there's lost 1,000 subscribers that weekend. It's pretty kind of funny now when you think about it.
I'm at that now on Social Blade where
people stood by your corner. We got Roberto Blake in the chat.
Roberto,
Mr. Blake, can't wait to talk with you tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm
sure Louis Rossmann is more reasonable. Sometimes I've known plenty of New Yorkers that have his like demeanor, and it's something that what I discovered when I left New York and moved back out into the real United States.
Real United States?
Yeah, because New York is not the real United States. Neither is Los Angeles.
Whoa, careful now.
They're not.
Okay.
They're totally different. The experience of being in New York or LA or maybe even Chicago is totally different than anything else in the rest of the United States. And your reality gets warped when you live in those places. Okay. So when I moved back out, I recognized that like people don't like to be confronted like strenuously. So I took my show to YouTube. Yeah. Myobi, you might be right. Chicago still does have its own feel. That does feel like America. It's maybe it's the industrial roots are still around. Yeah, Roberto, thanks for the super chat. Most people don't understand that being fair or honest doesn't mean being rigidly consistent and closed-minded. In fact, it likely means the opposite, which then is why the people who come to a YouTube channel hoping to have their own viewpoints somehow reinforced by an external source, if that external source then says, well, I changed my mind, then you're challenging their whole the whole way that they view the world. So
LeBaron Burton says, "You're gonna run Jason and Zach. I need addresses for tour popcorn." Travis likes it so far, so I'm just gonna mention this really quick. Travis did a live stream a few weeks ago where he was eating like this flavored popcorn and everything.
yeah,
And actually, I asked him off air. I'm like, "It actually looks really good," and like Travis's reaction was for real. And I wanted to buy some, and I picked out like 4 or 5 or 8 or 9 different sample sizes. Shipping to Canada was more than all the popcorn together, so I didn't place the order. So
okay, LeBaron, I'm going to get you a mailing address.
yeah,
I have to go to the UPS store and get a PO box. That's the thing. I haven't done it yet,
you need to get on that, man.
and because
I've had brands ask me to send me stuff, and they're like, no, we need a real address. I'm like, this is an address. It's like, no, your home address. I'm like, not gonna happen. And then we want your phone number. Not gonna. Actually, you know what? Now that I've got a SIM card and the iPhone 10R, I have a second phone number now. I'll hand out that number.
So I don't care. I don't care if brands have my address, because they send me fun things. So that's
you don't like it if crazy fans do, because I know you were getting some interesting text messages for a while. True.
yes, and I still am getting some interesting text messages from time to time. So, Brandon, the thing about the PO box is that it's inside of a UPS store, so everything can be. I can get anything delivered there, and it's actually an address. So
I know what Brandon means. I'd rather go myself personally. I'd rather go with PO Box. I've had luck with it. I've only had an issue, funny enough, with getting my iPhone 10s sent. DHL wouldn't deliver to a Canadian, like a Canada Post address. It was so ridiculous, and they ironic, like actually, I crushed and broke. Check it out. Where is it? Right here. I broke my 10R dummy. It's not the real, guys. It's just the fake. Broke the dummy.
Yeah.
And
why or how did you do that?
I don't know if it ended up on the floor. I walked into the studio and I stepped on it. I don't know how I fell on the floor. But I'll say this much. I'm never paying Gaskin that kind of money again after finding out what he charged other people. So
yeah. Google Voice is something that I probably should do because I've got multiple numbers that I need to funnel into one. So I got to look at the Google Voice. And DJG Money says Jason loves New York. He doesn't want to admit it. Yeah, I do love New York. I lived in New York for 11 years. And I loved living there. I just, at the time, it was clear that we were having a baby. We wanted to own.
having a baby?
No, this was 11 years. Well, more than 11 years ago. This was almost 15 years ago. We wanted to own our home. Possibilities for that with I was working freelance and my wife was working for a nonprofit. Anyway, very expensive. Didn't want to raise my child in New York. Wanted to raise her in a college town. I grew up in a college town, so we left. But if I ever become rich, I might go back. So
I want to be a millionaire so bad.
Yeah. I'd just take 1,000 air, like 6-figure air. Anyway, we've gone way off the topic of this app.
Man. I'm just typing away here. I'm actually taking notes here.
Okay. So.
'Oh.
What's going on here, Mark Yates?
Samuel saying, Zach, do you find your experience with the 10R the same as the 10S series, or do you feel the 10S and the Max is worth the upgrade? Okay, so do you mind if I talk about this really quick about what I'm doing?
No, go ahead.
While we kind of transition, I
Yeah.
guess here. Okay, so here's the deal. So I had the 10S Max for a while, and I did enjoy the phone. I went through that with my review and everything like that, and I obviously told about my concessions and things like that, and things I liked and things I did not like. But I like the unique positioning that Apple has done with the 10R. Single lens system, the way they've made this LCD look good. And yes, anybody that has not seen the LCD on here, the screen, and tells you it's bad is wrong. I guarantee it, when you see this in person, you will be happy with this. Watching YouTube on here has been great. Volume on the speakers on here has been great. It's been a great experience. Okay.
Yep.
I have been able to take some really great photos with the single system. I took a picture today. It's on my Instagram of the end of a pen with the blur in the background. That's just normal camera mode. This single was able to pinpoint the tip of that pen, a very thin pen. This pen right here, okay, and take that photo. Okay, very well done. Now it will tell you if you use the portrait mode. Can't find someone, can't do the bokeh properly. But this, again, was a pen, and it did it properly in normal camera mode. Very impressed. So I just like the unique positioning of this. I'm going to be doing a 52-week vlog with this. Every Sunday, I'll have an upload starting this Sunday of my week experience with this phone. So in other words, this is going to be in my left pocket. And in my right pocket will be the Android flavor of the month. Right now, it's the Note 9. I'm going to be unboxing and doing the Razer phone this week. I got a Mate 20 Pro showing up. OnePlus 6. Can't wait to get my hands on that. Might be a good time to transition. And I'm not abandoning Android, guys. I'm just opening up my horizons, and I'll admit it. I am enjoying my time with the iPhone so far. I really am.
Yeah, I mean, I went out and got the 10R last Friday just because I wanted to be able to review it, and I wasn't really sure if I had a feeling that I wasn't going to like it as much as the 10S Max.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to admit that there's the feeling of it in the hand is I wouldn't say more comfortable, but more wieldy.
Mm-hmm.
It's more wieldy, and this just feels a little bit bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely a lot going for this phone, and my daughter has like she's had an iPhone 6s forever,
Mm-hmm.
and it's time for her to get an upgrade. So I think for her birthday or for Christmas or something like that, her birthday's next month, we're gonna end up getting her a 10R.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I thought like, oh, we could go back to the 7 or the 8 or something like that. But I mean, there's just so much more to recommend this phone. It really does feel like an 8.
Yeah. Considering the concessions, there's 4 major concessions that the iPhone does not have over the 10s. Okay. I went over this in real detail on my live channel, but I'll just tell you guys right now. There's 4 major things. Okay. 1, the screen. Okay. 2, dual lens. 3, IP rating. The 10R is IP67, 10S is 68. Basically, getting to both take a splash. And I don't remember what the 4th is. I guess bezels, whatever. Honestly, for those 3 or 4 things,
well, you lose a gigabyte of RAM.
Hmm?
You lose a gigabyte of RAM.
Yeah, but opt thing, right? Like I find this phone very snappy and everything like that. So
I haven't had a problem with it.
yeah, and I don't expect a problem. So for those concessions for this price point, okay, let's talk about 3D Touch for a second. Okay, so guys, 3D right now is gone. The next iPhone, the next premium model will not have it. They're out. It's done. Why? Because it's not intuitive. Jason, you talked in length about this in another video. Go.
Well, I like 3D Touch. I don't use it for everything, but I definitely use it for stuff that I eventually must have trained myself to use it for. I love 3D Touch with the keyboard, being able to just do the harder press and put your cursor wherever you need it to go. I thought that with the 10R that was gone, and I was really bummed out. But I found out long press on the space bar on the 10R, and you get that back, so you can move your cursor around. So that's good. 3D Touch, I think 3D Touch has a whole lot of potential and always has, but unfortunately, it's going to become something like Shortcuts. Shortcuts has an amazing amount of potential, but it takes a while to get yourself like all sort of worked into it.
Is that the Siri shortcuts you're talking about?
Yeah, the Siri Shortcuts app.
I haven't tried it yet.
Okay, so I'm just going to show you guys this. All right, so here I am. I just got low battery warning on this 10R.
Arr.
I took it off the charger yesterday at 7 a.m.
That's awesome, man.
So, and it's been a normal use day for me. So the 10R battery is legit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Morgan Williams asks, thank you for the super chat. Considering a smaller device going between the 5.8-inch XS 10S or the Pixel 3. Man. As much as I wanted, the Pixel is a beautiful phone. There are good things about it. I don't know. The 10S is a more reliable phone, and you can get it. I think the one thing that the Pixel 3 has going over the 10S is the fact that it's $200 cheaper.
You're selling your Pixel, correct?
I am selling the Pixel.
I have a better idea. Since it was a free Pixel, why don't you send it to your fellow YouTuber so he can do a review on it?
There's this thing called cash money.
Capitalism, I love it.
And sometimes I need it.
That's cool, man. No, I wanted to put you on the spot in front of people, and you went the way I would expect you to. Good for you.
Well, I mean, I don't have the store of the warehouse of money that you have.
The warehouse of money.
Yeah, I've just got like a penny jar.
Okay.
So
okay, cool.
No, I do have somebody who already got in touch with me who is most likely buying it. So,
all right, I'll let it slide.
The thing that sealed the deal was not the S Pen. It was.
I was about to say the line.
The Team Pixel fanny pack.
Did you keep the fanny pack?
No, this guy wants the fanny pack.
I want the fanny. I was just thinking about this the other day. I was wearing my hoodie. I didn't have enough pockets. And I'm like, I could really use a fanny pack. Watching the people at 100. Oops, said the name. Send me a fanny pack. I mean, at least send me a fanny pack.
So Roberto asks, no contract saying you aren't able to sell it. As far as I know, I'm going to go back and check just to be 100% sure. But basically, they told us we could do whatever we wanted with them. Like if we posted on social media, we had to say, hashtag Team Pixel, hashtag gift from Google. And
nobody's put that hashtag gift from Google. I think there are videos maybe, but that's it.
I used it once. Just so I could say I could have plausible deniability about having used it if they asked. But yeah, I don't think there's anything that says I can't do it. But
yeah,
I'll check.
Or the email from the company that you've been in touch with. Maybe they'll respond to you, but just make don't burn your bridges.
Oh, he cares about the bridges.
Hey, I got a question for you. Do you spell favorite in the United States favorite?
Yes.
Okay, my computer keeps on saying no. You have to put a U in there, which is true for Canadian spelling.
Because you're Canadian.
I know. It's kind of
you're all tied to that Queen thing.
Yeah, but
even though you're a sovereign nation.
the new, not the, I guess they're not princesses, the duchesses. Which is the one that Harry just married?
Meghan Markle.
Merkel, yeah. Nice.
Mhm.
Nice job, Harry. Nice freaking Harry's the cool one.
Oh,
Nice job, buddy.
let's not go there.
You did. I'm just saying, man. She's a good looking girl.
Well,
Smoke
I mean, yes, of course. There, I think that he is a handsome young man who could possibly meet a handsome young woman, and they would.
I would not want to meet a handsome woman at all. I'd like to meet a pretty woman. Pretty woman.
I don't know. I don't want to go here because it could just go.
I know you like Roy Orbison. Come on, man.
Yeah,
You
I'm
know.
a social justice warrior. According to half of the comments I get in my videos.
Are you really? If anybody,
I don't know. I mean, if social justice warrior means I don't want people to get shit on for who they are or what they are, then
Mhm.
yes. But I'm not, I'm not sure that that's what it means. But I don't know.
Jason, come on, man. We're getting off topic.
I know we're getting off topic. Thank you, Tech Man. So what else did we see today? We saw iPads. We saw iPads with no bezels. The 10.5-inch iPad now has an 11-inch screen. Now that sounds confusing, but they just made the bezels thinner so they could get a half-inch more screen on there. So that looks, and they look really sweet. They're all squared off, and I got to admit the design is making me feel pretty good about things. And then we've got the 12.9-inch, which the 12.9-inch screen stays 12.9 inches, but the actual device itself gets smaller. So yeah, which they've got all kinds of, oh man, these things, like the transition from tablet that just is just like sort of a secondary device to what these iPads are capable of is pretty insane. And yes, there's a new pencil. They didn't really go into super detail about the pencil, except for the fact that it has a magnet that sticks it to the side of the iPad.
That's brilliant.
And then they also have, you can also like double tap to like go to the eraser. Yeah, and then
I ordered it. Maybe I could up my thumbnail game and not have to pay Paul anymore. Probably not. No, the kid does a good job.
yes, he does. He does. Absolutely.
He does a great job.
Hey Ryan, how you doing, man? Thanks for stopping in.
Let's talk about OnePlus.
Well, hold on. There's still
more Apple stuff.
Yeah.
See, this is why OnePlus needed their own day. And mock them all you want.
Well,
right?
I mean, OnePlus was just, Apple mailed them a shit sandwich and said,
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a new smart keyboard.
GameSki in the chat. GameSki.
What up, man? It's good to see you. Smart keyboard, USB-C, and up to 1 terabyte of storage. They say 2 times the performance of last year's iPads. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Because last year's iPads were pretty darn badass. Badass. And so USB-C opens up the possibility for all kinds of different things.
It's very interesting that these charge via USB-C.
Yes.
It makes you wonder if they're going to transition the iPhone.
Well, I think the reason that they went to USB-C with the iPad is USB-C is a universal connector that will allow you to extend to a display, that will allow you to actually, you can charge back.
Yep, that's right. I saw that. Yep.
Your iPhone. There's a lot of advantages to USB-C that specifically for the iPad could be very advantageous.
Yep.
Right? So, I mean, this is the transition that they're making. Everybody's like, "Oh, well, they took away Lightning. I wonder if they're going to do that for the iPhone." Well, they took away Lightning and gave it USB-C, but what connector does all the rest of their computing products have? USB-C.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So they're actually making these new iPad Pros more akin to a computing device
Mm-hmm.
than they are a mobile device.
Yeah, like the commercial. What's that computer?
Oh my God.
I know that one gets you going.
That was annoying. That was annoying. But I digress.
Computer.
See,
You digress.
yeah, but
Why is it the word this year? Everybody keep on saying I digress. I don't. Oh, whatever. Go on.
anyway,
I digress.
the thing is, I've been waiting for an iPad. I got one of the cheap 2018 iPads,
Mhm.
and I was like, yeah, it would be perfectly left, no, like hello, speaking. It would be perfectly fine to use. It has pencil support, all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
But I returned it.
200 people in here with us.
Hey, people.
Thanks for being here, everybody. Thanks for choosing us for your Tuesday. You could be anywhere else, but you're here with us.
Yes. And JC Smith, as JC Smith says, 8-core CPU and 7-core GPU. So, you know, crazy talk. That's a lot of stuff. So I'm really excited for the iPad Pros. I love that they didn't go with the notch.
Simply Beth. Hey, Jason. Hey, Zach. Hey.
Hey, Simply Beth.
Simply Beth.
Miyobi up here was saying,
Beth.
okay, so
Better than all.
okay.
Better than what?
Iowa City does still. Why are we talking about Iowa City? What did I miss in this chat? Iowa City is a UNESCO City of Literature.
Wait.
There are only 8 in the world.
Is some guy a gadget guy?
Juan Bagnell, my friend Juan. Now, what is the only really crappy thing about the iPad? The new iPads.
The fact that it's an iPad. I don't know. Tell you the truth.
No,
I can't think of anything right now.
No headphone jack. They didn't even say it.
No what?
Say it. No headphone jack.
No headphone jack. Sorry, yeah.
They didn't even say it. They didn't even give us the respect to say no headphone jack.
Yep.
You know, they didn't want to get booed.
So so basically we got. It's kind of funny because the new MacBook Pros have headphone jacks, which are kind of funny.
Well, the headphone jack is a professional port.
I know.
It's something that people
LG and Samsung are holding out for all of us old timers.
Well, according to rumor, Samsung is maybe getting rid of it for the S10.
Well, I guess you got to give them credit for holding out this long. The only time I really plug into my phone is when I'm on the airplane. So, I mean, for myself personally, not a big deal, but I can see how it is for other people.
There are many reasons why I would okay, tell me this. You were at Bit Summit. You had that Rode Video Mic Me. You couldn't plug it into your iPhone.
Well, first of all, I didn't have an iPhone there.
But if you had one, you couldn't plug it into it.
That's true. But I did, and you know what? When I was actually playing back the audio for the Tech with Tubers, I actually had to play with it hardcore for every part to get rid of a lot of the noise. Luckily, the Galaxy Note 9 was able to zero in on a lot of people really well. Any other phone, I probably would have had to use that plugin or that mic. It's right here, Video Mic Me, right here, right?
Yeah. Which I assume that is the same as the Video Mic Micro, the Video Micro. Yeah,
they're very similar. The capsule design and thing like that. But yeah, this is brilliant. If you still have a headphone jack, I know our good friend L Heavy Reviews is having some issues. He's trying to record with his new iPhone XS, but it's not always cooperating with the adapters and all that good stuff.
Right? Yeah. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Apple really, I mean, they just balled up their fist and went right up the backside with that one.
Yep.
And everybody's like, "Oh, just give it up, man. It's the
Yeah.
no, they totally screwed us."
Yeah.
So, and now they screwed us again. GameSki says removing the headphone jack from the iPad Pro is like getting dumped by the same girl again. Yeah, yeah, or at least her friend. So yeah.
Well, listen,
Okay.
Jeff
So,
went back. Sorry.
so Samuel James says something that a lot of people say: just buy the dongle.
Dongle.
Yeah, the dongle sounds like crap. Okay. I know that most people don't care about actual sound quality coming through their headphones, but the dongle sounds like crap.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you take whenever you take the audio out of the lightning port, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something has to convert that to analog signal. And so in that stupid little dongle that Apple makes, there is a DAC basically.
Yeah.
And
Dedicated audio controller.
no, digital audio converter.
Oh my God. Did I get it wrong?
Yeah, but that's okay.
Okay, whatever.
Um,
Take your dongle.
so that little piece of crap that costs $9 has so much to do with how your music is going to sound when using it. And yeah, what I don't understand is there is a huge market out there for USB and Lightning to 3.5 millimeter DACs.
Mm-hmm.
Why are they not being made?
I don't know.
Why are they not being made?
It's. I mean, if someone was marketing a pair of Lightning or USB-C headsets, and they said, this one has a built-in DAC and it's going to sound this much better, I'd be all over it. But I understand that.
Philips did that a couple of years ago.
I understand that, but I think the majority of people, your average consumers, unfortunately, don't. And this kind of goes back to the conversation about the LCD screen and the 10R. Remember, people were ticked off that even you did a video about it, giving them crap, and now I bet you gotta take it back.
No, I still think it's a crap move, but
You're right.
They successfully put lipstick on a pig.
Yeah.
And it's a good looking screen. The majority of everybody would be fine with it. If you want to have the more premium experience, you got to pay more money.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how it goes.
When you put video side by side with it, of course, I mean, if you take a Note 9, you put on the best settings or anything, it's going to look different. But I did a side by side, both 720 or whatever, with the 10s, or sorry, the 10R and my Note, and I could not tell the difference.
See, I compared the two iPhones, the 10s Max and the 10R,
Mm-hmm.
and it's in my video about the 10R. I mean, it's not scientific in any way, but I sat there looking at the two images. I found like a nice dynamic image that was going to have a lot of stuff going on, and the LCD panel was definitely more muted, a little bit less sharp.
Mm-hmm.
And the colors just didn't pop as much.
Willis brought it up right now just before I even had a chance. Jonathan Morrison proved this in a recent video. Did you watch his video?
No.
He did the blind test. So what he did is he had a bunch of people. He had a meetup last Saturday, and this is where he did this. And he put the 10s, the 10R and the Poco phone side by side, same video settings, covered them up so people couldn't see. And everybody kept on picking the Poco phone, or they kept on picking the 10R as the better screen.
See,
and it got revealed that right, it was really good. Really good.
$200. The Poco phone cost $200.
See, there you go with the money argument.
I'm just saying, if you're gonna compare apples to apples, then you should actually compare apples to apples.
Well, I think he's gonna do a follow up. So, but I thought it was pretty cool to see people's reactions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, like, it does look good. It looks fine. If you didn't have anything else to compare it to, you would not have a problem with this screen. And the overall phone, I mean, the sum of the parts are greater than the whatever I'm trying to say. You know, everything together about the iPhone XR is a good experience, regardless of the shortcuts that they had to take, the things that they had to shave off, or they decided to shave off, because have to is a little strong.
Should we pivot?
Should we pivot? Let me make
Talk
sure
about
that I've said everything that I need to say. Well, I just want to talk about the things that did not get the upgrades that we thought they were going to get.
You know what they didn't talk about? Air power is a myth.
Yeah. Air power didn't come up. AirPods 2 didn't come up. I don't think that AirPods 2 are like, going to come out anytime soon.
They're going to come out when they figure out air power. When they finally figure out air power, there's going to forget about it, right? Where exactly, Andrew? Where power? Where? right? Right? That's a good one. Let's do that for a video. Where power?
Yeah. The thing is, like, the AirPods are nearly a perfect product.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the life cycle of headphones, you'll find that most headphone manufacturers, when they find a design that works, they stick with it for quite a bit of time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like the Sennheiser HD600s that I have came out like 30 years ago originally, I think. Apple's not going to do that. Apple needs to have product cycles. But I don't think that the AirPods 2 are as close as most people seem to think they are.
Mm-hmm.
There was talk of an over-the-ear headphone that they might put out, but the thing is, they already have Beats. And Beats has an entire line of products, like over the ear, on the ear, earbud, sporty sport, whatever.
Yep.
And I don't see why Apple would want to recreate the products that they're already selling, unless they want to sell something at that looks more Apple-like.
Well, I thought the whole point of having AirPods 2 was to kind of correspond with air powers, like these wirelessly charging, right? And then to be the only difference.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't want to buy a whole new set of headphones for a wirelessly charging case.
Some people might do that. Who knows? They may separately. Let's say you already have the AirPods, they might sell the case separately. That'd be cool. I'd be down for that.
Yeah, I just don't see. I mean, a wirelessly charging case for something that you have to charge every week at the most.
I'm saying there's a market for it. For them, the right time to release that wireless charging, whether it's just a case or everything all together, will be at the same time as air power.
Air power is never going to come out.
And here's the thing: is it was the day to release those. So I'm almost 99% sure we won't see that stuff until next year.
I'm going on record saying that I don't think we're ever going to see air power.
You don't think we're ever going to see air power? No. Okay, you guys, mark it here on your calendars. Dongle. And Jason said,
"Yeah, I just don't think they can do it. I think they have tried.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've tried and tried and tried and tried.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But they can't do it.
And there's so many other wireless solutions out there as it is, like wireless charging solutions. They just seem to be behind the game. Like I know there's no other. I don't know that I know of, but there's plenty of products out there right now where there's like a matte design, and it has the spots on there where you put your device. Right. Same as when you go to a coffee shop and everything like that. The whole point of air power was supposed to be that you could do that, but also apparently be able to like transfer data. Like you'll be able to put that on your phone and be able to work with on your. Right?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that they took an idea and said they were going to do it and haven't been able to do it.
I'll tell you this much: this will be the last time we ever hear Apple announce something in advance like that.
Oh, they've done it before.
What's that? With what? Like with what?
Shoot. now I said that, and what it was like.
Now, I can't remember the last time they announced something like this so far in advance and then just never followed through.
Um, there is something, and I can't remember what it was. Maybe somebody out there in the chat
Yeah.
will know. But yeah, I do know that they have they have overpromised in the past.
Mm.
Apple also has never had really good luck with more premium style headphones. You know, they had the more premium AirPods,
Yeah.
or earpods that were $99, and I mean, I don't know. You read reviews of them, and people say, "Oh, they're great," and then you look at the reviews on the Apple website, and it's like these are crap.
I mean, there's a lot of people out there who'll say the AirPods are crap, but our good friend Andrew Edwards, I mean, I think he pointed out well their, functionality and conveniences for him seems to be outweigh like sound quality, and I think I would be on that train as well. Like, I'm actually looking forward. I'm hoping that somebody in my family gives me a pair of AirPods, just because it's hard to buy for me. So it'd be cool to get a pair for Christmas.
I got mine right here someplace.
Yeah.
Oh, look. I'm charging them right now.
Okay.
But the charge is done. Yeah, I use them all the time. I mean, I was listening to my podcast when I got back from my walk. I just switched right over to this, and I listened to. So Josh Segneri tweeted at me yesterday and was like, "Oh, you better watch this." This thing I'm doing tonight, and it's like it was happening at 11 o'clock or 11:30, and I was going to be in bed, but I wasn't because I got sucked into another series.
Was that the thing with Drew?
Yeah.
Did you watch it? How was it?
I did. I watched most of it on 2x speed.
It was that was a hot seat thing, right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. He interviewed me for a second time a couple weeks ago. Josh, I'm still waiting for that to come out.
Okay. So Mark Yates says the price doesn't warrant the purchase.
It's too goddamn high.
What? I'm missing what we're talking about.
AirPods.
Mediocre tech. AirPods do sound like earpods, and earpods actually sound pretty darn good. For what for in the box headphones. See, the thing is, the shape that these things have. Everybody's like, oh, they look like toothpicks, or they look like.
They look like toothbrushes, man.
Here's the thing: this whole chamber, is acoustically tuned for better bass, and for just cover up this. If you have AirPods, cover this up and see how it affects the sound.
The little hole thing.
Yeah, I mean, because I remember when they came up with the earpods after they wanted to get rid of the original ones were pieces of garbage. So they actually spent a lot of time designing the earpods.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of time and attention put into getting them to a price point where they could put them all in the boxes.
Yeah.
And getting them to a place where they sounded good enough that the experience would be on par with the iPhone experience. I've bought the AirPods twice now because I lost one.
Good job, buddy.
Hey,
All right, time to pivot.
All right, what are we going to talk about?
We're going to talk about OnePlus. They had their own thing as well the day before.
OnePlus 6T was announced yesterday.
And
yeah.
I'll bring up my notes.
I don't know that I'm as impressed with the phone as I am with what the phone could possibly do to the US market. I don't like that there's no headphone jack. I don't like that, all the things that I don't like.
Well, let's go through some of the details here. I took screenshots of the whole presentation and then I tweeted them out and everything like that. And of course, I'm trying to bring up the screenshots now because they are my notes. But yes, they have partnered up with T-Mobile, over 5,600 stores in the United States. And apparently you can trade in. There's like a list of phones you can trade in to get $300 off.
Yeah, but it's Samsung does the same thing.
Yep.
Not quite as good a deal as what Samsung offers.
My phone, because clearly my interwebs is not working here right now. All right, so yeah, so to just kind of recap, everybody, OnePlus 6 was actually supposed to have their thing the same day as Apple. Apple came along and they took so they backed up a day. But the one thing that people are not talking about is that for those registered guests, the people that were actually on the list, people that bought invites, OnePlus has reimbursed or helped people out with costs and things like that, which I thought was a very classy move. So it's a tough business decision. It was a business decision. But it is what it is. Yeah, they could have stayed and tried to make their own thing and done it a couple hours earlier, this and that. But everybody would be at the Apple thing waiting. So yeah, 5,600 T-Mobile stores they've teamed up. So OnePlus 6T teaming up the 6T. And so the big thing with this, and I thought the presenter was kind of like, yeah, guys, so we did this and check it out. He was all like almost too cool for school up there presenting. You saw it, right?
I didn't watch the event. I just kind of.
I don't know the dude's name, but he was all like, hey, so like. He was all like the phones, like, hey, he was all like, yeah, so this is what we are, and the screen unlock. So it's in display, under glass, in display fingerprint sensor. I haven't deep dived into it yet, but I'm almost positive it's the same optical synaptics sensor that Vivo uses, because again, OnePlus is owned by the same people as Vivo and Oppo. This is the first American available. How did they word it? First screen unlock smartphone in the US. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing, and I think that's going to be what initially gets people excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people were saying the fingerprint unlock on the screen was slow.
Mm-hmm.
But I was watching videos of people using it yesterday, and it was like, bam.
Yeah. No, it's. If you want to see slow, you should see the video that I did on the Vivo X20 Plus UD. That was the first generation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gotten faster and faster. Now, Face ID or their face unlock is like boom, like it's instant, right?
Right.
This is significant. You can definitely tell a difference, but it's not like you're waiting.
Well, the thing is about the face unlock is that it's just not super secure like a fingerprint would be, or like Face ID.
Yeah. Yeah, their Face ID is not as secure. They don't do the whole dot projection thing. Like Willis says here, Mr. Mobile wasn't thrilled with the screen unlock. Yeah, I saw that, and Mr. Mobile can say that because he dresses really well. Michael, hi, we miss you.
Yeah, and I think it was probably his video, among others, that I watched, where they were saying that it was not very quick, and then I went straight to another video where somebody was just like, their finger was on it, it was open.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say, and I can't really say like. So somebody was asking a question. Yeah. So Nice asked, I'm still waiting, undecided 6T or 3XL, undecided. What's your opinion? Unfortunately, I think the one thing it's gonna come down to with Pixel versus 6T is the camera. If the 6T has better than average camera, then I think I would just go with the 6T.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's use case is going to be slightly different. I like to take pictures, but it's not like the thing that I think about immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, got to get my camera out and take a picture.
So let me breeze through the other features, the other things they talked about here. So here's their camera. It's the same screen as we had before. I'll say this: the new notch, the teardrop thing, I like the way that looks.
Yeah, it looks good.
I think that looks classy. I think for what they had to do. So the camera is a 16 megapixel and a 20 megapixel f.7 OS and electronic.
You froze. Go back.
Oh, now. Is it good now?
Okay. Yeah, you're back.
a 16 megapixel and a 20 megapixel, both at at f.1.7 and so electronical stabilization and 480 fps low mode. So that's cool, right?
Yeah.
It's no 960.
Right.
You know, um, and I've said this before, and I think it was MKBHD that said it first. This is his quote. Once you get 90% of what all the big boys are doing for 50% of the price, and you really are.
Yeah. No,
They've
I think that's true.
they've increased the battery size, not quite 4,000, but they went from 33, I think, to 37.
It's
So
a 1080p screen too. So
well, I've always had good battery power, right? So 23% better battery life, and then they talked about gaming a little bit. Talked about their users. Then they had okay, and then here we go. Price points. Here we go. Price points. This is what it starts at.
549,
549 for
579.
so you get 6 gigabytes of RAM at 128 at 549, 8 gigabytes of RAM at 128 at 579. So basically a $30 increase, and that I think that's worth it. That right there, and then at 256 at 8 gigabytes of RAM at 629. I think that 579 is to be the one that everybody grabs. That's what I'm gonna grab. I don't need.
Yeah, I mean that's the value for the money. 8 gigabytes and 128 is the value for the money. I mean, I honestly have gone back and forth between six gigabyte Android phones and 8, and never really see a difference. I think you have to be a super like power user, kind of, maybe do a lot of gaming or whatever you could do to need 8 gigs of RAM on a phone.
Yeah.
I know that Android can use that, especially when the phones start to get a little longer in the tooth. I think having that extra cushion of RAM is probably good. But I mean, the Android experience, a lot of people don't remember that the reason Apple got so far out ahead of Android is that the Apple experience was always stable. From the moment that I can't speak to the first iPhone, I didn't have one, but from the second iPhone, the 3GS onward, the user experience was always stable.
I noticed that the OnePlus guys kept on saying for what iOS stabilization, optimization, they've been bringing that up a lot themselves. Just like a lot of other Android OEMs, they use Oxygen OS, right, which is their skin over top of Android. And I've always described Oxygen as like pure Android, like a Pixel, but like on steroids, and like in a good way. Like there's a lot of good stuff they put in there, and good customizations and everything like that. Now, my only gripe with the OnePlus 6T is how they took away the headphone jack. I really think they shot themselves in their foot, especially with their hardcore audience. If you go over and read those OnePlus 6T forums, those hardcore people, they're all saying what the F, right? Seriously, the majority of them are. So I mean, the Vivo Next, which is again manufactured by the same company, 4,000 milliamp battery, headphone jack, in-display fingerprint sensor. They proved that they could do this.
Right.
OnePlus gives their reasons, bigger battery. And they should have kept it, man. They at least one more year, right? That's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing about the headphone jack, and the people who advocate for keeping it versus the people who don't really give a crap.
Yeah.
It's trying to explain to somebody the difference between a McDonald's hamburger and a good hamburger, right?
Out, man, that was good burger there. Hey,
yeah, I didn't get to go.
Oh, well, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where people are kind of not necessarily. If you don't know what you're missing, you won't miss it, right? And I think the majority of people, when it comes to the headphone jack, won't miss the experience you can get from quality headphone jack. So it's a minority of us that suffer for the loss of it.
Interesting. I think they're going to do a killing with it. I think I said this last night. I said it in a couple. I said it. I've said this on Twitter. I've said this in a couple different comment sections. The OnePlus 6T is the Pixel that we all wanted.
Yes.
Who might said it?
Yeah, I think that's true. Except for without the Pixel camera, I don't think anything. I don't think the 6T is gonna challenge the Pixel for like.
Well, 6 out of 10 is a 8, and I'm being generous. It's probably closer to a 7.
Yeah. I think that's probably right. I think that for the casual person who wants a great phone and doesn't want to pay $800 to $1,000 for it,
The 60.
yeah, the 6T is the thing, and it now works on the Verizon network.
Yeah,
It works on Verizon.
They're not selling it. It works on the Verizon LTE network. So go pick it up from, or buy it outright, or whatever you want to do from T-Mobile or directly from OnePlus and take it over Verizon. That's pretty huge that they got over there.
Yeah,
So,
because when I had the 5T for review, I had to go get an AT&T like prepaid SIM to use that phone. So,
Mark Yates, yeah, Five Guys. Oh, Five Guys. I'm gonna order Five Guys tonight for this.
the thing about Five Guys,
Oh my good lord, Five Guys.
like, is like you take. I took my son there to have lunch a month or so ago, and the two of us got like the regular whatever hamburger. I got like the mushrooms and onions thing, and then we both got small French fries and a drink, not a milkshake, just a drink, and so all of that was over $30. Just like, and that's not Canadian money.
What's your point?
That's free for fast food, like hamburger. Crazy talk.
Oh, okay.
You know, I mean, I'll pay $5,000 for an iMac Pro, but you wanted me to pay $30 for 2 cheeseburgers. I'm gonna bitch about it.
Oh.
So, from what I've heard, now I didn't get to go to In-N-Out when we were last in LA. From what I've heard, Five Guys is better than In-N-Out. Five Guys is really good, but every time I eat there, I feel like I'm not gonna make it out of the restaurant before I have a coronary. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah. How did we get on Five Guys?
It's Mark Yates. Mark Yates. It's his fault. How about Fat Burger? You ever had Fat Burger?
No.
Fat Burger is just freaking awesome. I'm gonna get some Fat Burger tonight.
Yeah, I don't think we have that down here.
Well, they haven't. It's a California chain, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, they don't have it out here in the middle.
Yeah, we don't have Jack in the Box here.
Jack in the Box is, I'm pretty sure, more southern.
We don't have Chick-fil-A either.
Chick-fil-A is
We have Popeyes.
is good. Popeyes is just like a Kentucky Fried Chicken ripoff.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I'll go to McDonald's. I'll go to KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, if I want a good chicken burger.
All right, I'm starting to get hungry, so let's stop. What else do we want to say about the OnePlus 6T?
Is the Pixel, Pixel 3. Now we're not going to talk about notches. We're not going to talk about. We already talked about this. We're going to talk about specifically me and the other people out there that have bought the Pixel. Okay, so Pixel is announced on what, October 8th? That same day, I ordered the Pixel 3 in white, 64 gigabyte. Okay. A few days later, I ordered the XL. I get an email 3 weeks ago. We've changed the date of your delivery, and they pushed it back by a week. Then then a week later, I got another email saying we pushed it back again. I get an email yesterday saying it's going to go out for delivery tomorrow. Finally. So they actually moved it up. My problem is this. I've never experienced this before. I'm told that this happens with the Pixel every year.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my problem. Google, you're sending out devices, boxes of these devices to everybody with 10,000 plus subscribers. And this isn't about me not getting a Pixel. You're sending out devices to every freaking YouTuber out there, but you're not sending out devices that people that paid money for it. That's a freaking problem. That's a freaking problem. Okay, that's terrible.
Well, I have to.
That's terrible.
The only thing that I could say that might explain it is that
everybody on the YouTube, except for the people that actually shelled out the money for the device.
The only thing I can think that would explain it is that the pixels that were sent out to folks like me were sort of like a first run. Let's throw them together because and first run. We're not gonna. These are like production models, but they're our first batch. You know how the first pancake. It's always like not quite so good.
Like you and I get that, but the optics are terrible, right?
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but it sucks that
I'm going to get the device, I'm going to review it, and I'm going to return it. I was originally going to keep it. I was going to keep it, like because I've kept all my Pixels in the past. I have Pixel 2 here. I got Pixel 1. I've got my Nexus 6. I got my Nexus 6P. Like I'm that guy. I've always been a Nexus Pixel guy. This year, screw them. I'm returning it. Pissed off, man.
Yeah. Well, ultimately, as you know, as I've said, it's a good device.
Heart rate's currently 101. I'm good.
We need to talk. 100 anything heart rate is not okay. But anyway, I'm one to talk. I am not exactly the slimmest that I could be, but
Dude, you're a toothpick compared to me. Everybody thought I was the Vid Summit bouncer.
Yeah. But I think ultimately, in terms of OnePlus T plus versus the Pixel, I thought immediately my thought yesterday was OnePlus just killed the Pixel.
Yeah, there was a murder yesterday.
Yeah,
and it happened in New York on stage.
Yeah. If OnePlus plays this right, if they get the devices into the hands of the people, then yeah. The Pixel doesn't have a market.
It doesn't, because people are going to walk in. I guarantee, because I already know dealers out there that have already told me that, if we had that up here in Canada, I would totally sell boatloads of those over the Pixel.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. People are walking in and looking at Samsungs and Apples, and then they might get scared off by the price point. Then they go look at an LG or an Alcatel or an HTC because of price point. But you show this thing and what it can do.
Well, that's the thing. Like, we've had 3.5 major players in the flagship smartphone market. We've had Samsung, Apple, the Pixel, which has never really got its market share, but they're big enough that people will put them in that category. And then LG, which is just like dying on the vine.
LG, it's such a great brand too. It's just their marketing blows.
Yeah. So the OnePlus 6T is, as we've been saying, it's 90% of the phone that the Pixel is. Any sort of flagship Android competitor, it's got 90% of what all those phones have. And if the Note 9 is $1,000 and the OnePlus 6T is $549, $579, then
it's huge.
If you don't love the Note for just being a Note, then nobody's going to make that choice. Like, oh, I think I'll just spend an extra $450.
Yeah, major differences between the Note and the OnePlus 6T off the top of my head. OnePlus 6T, no wireless charging, no stylus, a 1080 screen on the OnePlus 6T as opposed to 4K, whatever it is, or OLED, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Those are major concessions I can think of right there.
Well, the OnePlus is an OLED screen. It's just 1080p resolution.
Yeah. So, you look past those things, you go go with the. I mean, I think Michael Fisher, Mr. Mobile, did a OnePlus 6 versus Note video. A couple of people did that earlier this year,
Right.
right? No, Tech Leathercraft says actually it's a very good point. There's no official IP rating because OnePlus didn't want to pay for that, and they were upfront with that, which I give them major props for. They didn't gloss over or not talk about it or deviate. They said, "Yeah, we didn't want to pay for it, but we have the same stuff in there."
Right.
Listen, if the 6T can still take a splash of water, then cool, we're good to go.
Yeah. I mean, I guess maybe I still just have the residual memory of like putting my phone in a bowl of rice
Mm-hmm.
and, accidentally dropping it in the toilet or whatever.
Texas here has a good point. Just wait for Xiaomi to come to the U.S. net market next year. I'm telling you. So I said this already that if 2018 was the year of the notch, 2019 is the year of in-display fingerprint sensors. But on top of that, 2019 will also be the coming of the Chinese phones to America. What I mean is you got OnePlus now partnering up with a U.S. partner. If Xiaomi finds somebody,
you know what though? Okay, let's be honest here. There is a potential fly in the ointment. Remember last year, Axon was supposed to have a phone on AT&T,
yeah, I remember that.
and then at the very last minute, like the very, very last minute, the United States government said, "Nope, we don't like the potential for espionage, so not going to happen." So that could I don't know how the situation is or isn't different with OnePlus, but
Tech Weather Grass is a good thing. Xiaomi's not going to America politics. We've seen that with Huawei, right? Yeah. If Huawei was the American market right now, they'd be destroying things. That Huawei Mate 20 Pro, oh my God, I can't wait to get mine. I'm going to get mine in 8 days. I can't wait. It's on its way here. Is looking deadly. Again, in display. Apparently, they're putting it in side by side in terms of performance and everything with the Note. So,
right.
Yeah.
Miyobi says Americans as a whole don't want Chinese products that are from Chinese companies.
That's kind of funny. I would tell you to go flip over any piece of electronics you have right now.
Well, no, I mean, everything is made in China. Your iPhone's made in China. Like everything is made in China. Mm-hmm. But I think that there's a history of Chinese products that come over to the U.S. for a long time have been, way like at a price point way lower, at a quality point way lower, and that's what we have in our head. Mm-hmm. That a Chinese manufacturer is always trying to undercut the flagship manufacturers, and so, but the quality is never quite as good. Now that may not be the case now, but for the past like 10 to 20 years, it has been the case. So it's going to take a while for the American market to start to see the Chinese products in a different light. Mm-hmm. And that's just the way it is. It's not anything against the manufacturers themselves. It's just there's been this perception that's built up over time.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think are we done? Is this the end of the podcast?
I don't think we have anything else to talk. I think unless you want me just to plug a couple of things, but we don't have to. So
you plug away. Plug away, Zach, and then I'll try and think of something to plug for myself.
For those of you that are part of the give back that I'm doing on my channel, we decided that it's going to be on November 1st on the live channel. The time for that will be 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Okay, I still have to set up the actual clickable link so you guys can bookmark and all that kind of stuff. But it'll be 9:30 Eastern Standard Time on November the 1st, where we announce the winner of the give back 2 iPhone XRs to give away on my channel. On top of that, what else was I going to talk about? I think that's it. That was kind of the major thing right there. You don't have to be present, obviously, for the give back, but it'd be really cool to have the people that, if you entered, to have you there. Jason will be on, Viper will be on, and El Jefe Reviews Jeff will be joining us after. So yeah, we'd love to see all y'all faces there. Again, that's youtube.com/Zach Talks Live. ZAKTALKS LIVE. Zach Talks Live.
Zach, as opposed to Zach Talks Recorded.
Yeah, well, as opposed to tech, because on that channel I can do pretty much anything I want.
Yeah. Yep.
That's the only thing I really have to plug. Yeah, that's it. 9:30 Eastern on the 1st of November.
Yeah. So I put out 2 videos yesterday, and it was like I was trying to do the piggyback where one would just bonk, like just jump.
Yep.
It didn't quite work as I had hoped. Got a new video out today. If you haven't seen that, it's on the
That's the thing I want to plug. For those of you that are in the chat right now, I'm dropping a video tonight. I started uploading before we went live, which is what's been causing problems with my feed here, but I stopped it. So now I have to start re-uploading after we're done here. So it's almost 11 o'clock Eastern. It'll be up in the next 30 minutes, hopefully.
Yeah.
It's ready to go. I've got the description and everything. I just got to upload it.
Right. Yeah, so if you haven't seen the new video, 5 minutes, whole Apple thing, but we just talked about it. I got more videos planned for this week, but I actually made like 4 videos in the past 2 days, so my brain is a little spent. But I'm trying to get better at this, so I'm just going to give it a go. If you guys are interested in what I use to produce my stuff, I know Zach has links to his stuff as well. Everything is linked down in the comments below. And I also have a t-shirt, if you happen to want a Painfully Honest t-shirt. Zach's got some new t-shirts coming. And I should get some new t-shirts coming, but haven't quite yet. And I also have a Patreon. If anybody is thinking like, oh, geez, how could I support Jason? Well, Patreon. And I'm on the verge of figuring out what I'm going to do to actually make the Patreon worthwhile for the folks who give.
I think I'm going to do some exclusive giveaways on mine because a lot of times I'll bring product in and then it just sits here, right? Like I've got wireless chargers here, I got keyboards, things like that I've barely used once. So I'm thinking of like boxing that stuff up and putting it on Patreon. Because you're a patron, give that stuff away. You guys know I take good care of my stuff. I know you take good care of your stuff. That's a good way to get rid of stuff, Jason.
Yeah, I like money. But one thing I will say, thank you, Maestro Reggie Jackson. I know you're a Patreon supporter. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. One thing I am going to do is make the live podcast videos available to the Patreon patrons. So you'll be able to watch those at any time. You'll have the links to watch them. Might do some behind the scenes, like what is it like to work here in the Painfully Honest studio.
I'm gonna do that one of these days. I'm gonna set up a camera and just have it over here recording while I'm doing the whole thing, like everything, and then put that as a private video for the patrons.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Harshid, if you're asking me, yes, I'm on Spotify. You can look for Jason T. Lewis, or you can look for Star City. Those are both me at different points in my musical life. So anyway, I want to say thanks to everybody who's been here live. I want to say thanks to everybody who has been listening out there in the podcast ether, I guess it is. I hope we've made your trip to the store or your commute to work or your special private time in your bathroom more enjoyable.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, thanks so much for being here. Again, if you want to come and watch on Tuesdays, 9 o'clock Eastern is when we do the live taping of the podcast. If you don't want to do that, that's totally cool as well. The podcast will be available for the listening pleasure of the audio audience. What else do I want to say? Like, subscribe, No, that's YouTube. Give us a rating and let us know what you think, because that would be awesome. And yeah, usually we would do some Q&A after this, but Zach needs to get some work done, and I'm tired and need to go to sleep.
It's a short one tonight, folks. It's a short one tonight.
No Q&A tonight, but once again, thank you all so much for being here. My name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is the Painfully Honest Tech Podcast. The podcast so honest it hurts. I want to say thanks to my ever expressive co-host, Zach of Zach Talks Tech. Thank you to everybody out there in the studio audience, Wizard Squad, Zach Pack. And with all of that said, we are out.